a little nervous to speak with you, but then I was just kind of thinking, like, I was like, at the end of the day, like, even though this is really big, it's a video game too, right? So I can talk video games.
And it's just, it's weird because I talk to so many people now. And I'm sort of tacitly sort of the leader of this project or what have you. But like, I'm just a dude, and I mean that. Like, to ask, and this is the thing. Like, anytime you want to find out how true that is, talk to Greg, G Money in the channel, and just ask Greg, like, how much of like just a dude is Corey, and he's gonna be like, yeah, that guy's just a dude. Anyway, we're live now, guys. I wanted to just do a quick little, I want to explain what's going on here. So Raul was talking to me about a week ago, and asking if he could like ask me some questions and do a bit of a writing interview to maybe write an article, right? And then I suggested, well, why don't you just take over the channel and just interview me there? We'll do it on the day of the sale or whatever. And he was gracious enough to say, yeah. So Raul, I'm just gonna, you have the driver's seat, you have the con, as it were. I do have to mention one thing, where doing the Mandalorian helmet thing is it's tight. I'm here for it.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah, I'm a big Disney fan, so you'll always catch me wearing a Spirit jersey at least once a week.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Yeah. So again, thank you for, I guess, agreeing to this. I'm the one that should be thankful because of everything that the uplift is going to be. So I'm definitely excited to be speaking with you. I guess my goal really is kind of to give people an understanding what the uplift is and what the vision behind it is, and how it, although it is a video game, it's much more than a video game. Earlier in the Telegram, you had talked about that you just realized that we're going to be meeting our neighbors soon once we're all allowed into the game. I just thought about that as well, and that's huge, right? There's so many layers to this game that it's a little bit more than that. And so I'm interested in figuring out what exactly is the uplift.
So that's becoming an interesting question, right? And I guess what comes to mind first is this contentious argument about whether we have creative or whether we have survival, right? Because I think it actually speaks to the underlying thing that this is or might become. And so the creative stuff, we do the community cluster, all these projects come in, their stuff, obviously they have their kind of names like on it, like, yeah, we're interested in this thing or whatever. And they're building in creative, most of them, except Anders, who of course will never build in creative, except when he needs some glass. I see you. Anyway, we're actually gonna be on with Anders on his channel later, so that'll be fun. But it lets you build, like, you don't have to mine anything basically, right? So it's not a game anymore. It's like, here's a giant Lego set, and you can have as many pieces as you want or as you need to just let your creative freak fly. And companies come in and they make big signs in the sky. They make the Boyd installation. They make the block-based installation. They make a giant the wax thing in. Like, I actually built that building using creative, right? So it puts you in God mode basically, right? And what that's good for is being a metaverse, right? Like Decentraland, only a light switch doesn't cost you 10,000 mana. You could just make it, right? And we're gonna have the ability to have like an NFT gallery and do some different things. It lets you get into that metaverse space where instead of going to somebody's website, and actually I had a guy who used to work at Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank this morning say that it's like a next level 4-dimensional browser, right? And you're not going to somebody's website, you're going to somebody's place in the metaverse. Right. So that's the creative mode side, is this bootstrapping metaverse that is, the kind of anything that wasn't a game in the Oasis and Ready Player One. And there was a lot of stuff like that, right? Theaters, music stores, the concert venues, everything, right? So that's the metaverse side. Now, The survival side is when you get back into game mode, right? And both of these things exist in the same way that they did in the Oasis, right? So that's where those maps or those worlds or those districts will be in survival mode. And to get anything done, you're going to have to mine. You're going to have to collaborate. There's going to be a market of stuff. So like, I'm going to come in and buy all the sea lanterns anyone collects probably all the time because, I like me some sea lanterns, right? But there's an economic plugin so that you'll be able to go to different shops and get what you need to get to build these other things. And that also creates an economy for people that want to grind, right? Like we talk about our friend Laugh Track who got in the game and when we first started kind of messing around with this server, didn't know anything, like walked around walls like the way my wife plays video games basically. Don't tell her I said that. But just like totally new, right? Like having to learn how to walk forward and backwards and like that level of video game new. And she just really started to enjoy, especially with COVID and not being able to leave the house and that whole thing, just mining. So she's like, and you could visit this like underneath Cathedral 1.0. And we'll maybe drop a marker so you can go down and visit this stuff. You can find where Donna basically just as her Zen mine stuff, and she's got crates of diamonds, and they were all mined, and they're hard to find, right? So like that sort of level of playing in a survival world will be of immense actual value, right? Because people are going to come in and want to do artistic builds in survival mode. And we actually decided to do this before we mint all the 1-on-1s. They're going to have an attribute. Is this creative or is this survival? And if I do an art build and it's in creative, cool. Like, good story, bro. Right? But if I do an amazing, beautiful art build in survival, I think it's going to be worth at least twice as much from the jump. Because that's not like, it's like the difference between a DJ pressing play. Not quite, right? Or like, synth or like, that kind of thing, like music. Or somebody spending 10 years to learn how to play guitar that blows your mind, right? And both have value. Both are great, right? And to different people, they mean different things. But that's when you ask, like, what is it? It's this place layer where we can all get together, and it's the game layer where we can kind of have infinite levels of fun and do all sorts of crazy stuff. But companies are running to this. It is weird. For me, again, just a guy. But this morning I was on the phone with a Southeast Asian NFT market that's fucking stoked about this, right? It's like, oh, and it makes sense. Like I get it, but it's weird. And so on top of all that, and I'm grateful that this just sort of got layered into what we're doing. On top of all that is the gratitude practice and the win-win-win economy, right? And those are the ways that we want to take this metaverse layer that is going to make a lot of money, and the game layer that's going to make a lot of money, and not just for us, I think for everyone. That's the goal, right? But we aim to tune the world and our community to some specific frequencies. That gratitude practice will increase the amount of happiness and joy in the world, bit by bit by bit by bit. Like that's going to happen. Right? For every new person that decides to practice that, it has all sorts of knock-on effects, which are awesome. And the win-win-win economy, it just means like if you have a transaction, you want to make sure that somebody else is winning in that transaction. And for us, that's Uplift Donate, our school mission. But it could be anything, right? Like that, it's just sort of a way of thinking of, okay, we can both mutually benefit from whatever this transaction we're thinking about doing is. But how do we find somebody else to just be a winner in it, right? Whether that's a charity or like a strategic partner or whatever. And that's having sort of cascade effects that are sort of building as well. So I suppose it's kind of all of those things. And really we're going to bootstrap in, and when we can upload, we'll just all hop into the Uplift and live there until the end of time.
Yeah, that's crazy, to say the least, right? It's hard to wrap my head around that. Just thinking of like how we're going to be navigating between metaverses and I know you mentioned before, like the survival tagged NFTs are going to be a thing, possibly, right?
Yeah, no, that attribute is the survival versus creative attribute is going to happen. That's happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm also really interested in the gratitude aspect, and in some of my research, I found that Uplift art is, are they behind this?
So M Blue is my equal partner in the Uplift, and also my equal partner in all sorts of music drops. That's actually how I met him, interviewing him for a show like this. And he found out I was a guitar player and a musician. He's like, well, do you want to do a remix of this Bitcoin Bull song that I released as the first music video NFT on the blockchain ever? And I was like, yes, let's do it. So if you haven't heard it, I'm Not the Bubble is the single that we put out, and we right, yeah, it's I found out that the way to make songs catchy is just to repeat shit a lot. Because I find myself singing that all.
I actually sorry, your gratitude song that's on the Genesis NFTs, that's catchy. And I think when I'm hyped, I'll sing that. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and again, like, because I've been in music for a long time, and I've got some stuff out there, and I like it, but the stuff that I'm making with M Blue, like, I'll listen to that as well to get jacked, right? Like it's sort of it's not, I don't feel like I'm listening to me. I feel like I'm listening to this thing that I got to be a part of. And it's, he's just an amazing producer. He's really, really good at it. So, we did that drop, the initial one with Uplift Art, raised about 30,000 for charity. And the way they do it is 25% goes to the artist, 25% goes to the company Uplift Art, and 50% goes to charity, right? Which last year in December, I think this was, or November, when we did it was the Haitian Roots Food Charity. And they're basically, we're getting the money to feed orphan kids in Haiti, because of course they've had all that crazy stuff that happened over there, right? And we did a couple more drops, the Spaceman drop and the Tiamo drop. Those were the first. Well, I guess we did the Burning Man installation. We basically created some sculptures, created like a land region around them, made them into NFTs, and auctioned them off for charity, and raised just a buttload of money. Like it that's when the Uplift as an idea started to pick up steam, because like the Burning Man thing that we did, which again, you can take the rail away from the cathedral and go and see that, which I totally recommend doing. We auctioned that off to the Blue Wizard for $5,000 for charity. Boom, done. Right. And he got to send somebody in game who pressed a button that lit the thing on fire, which was like really cool. It was a lot of fun. Okay. And then across the water from there, you can take a little boat across the water there and get to the Spaceman build, where we had a bunch of builders come in and build things from like just whatever inspired them from M Blue's Spaceman music video. And that became another drop. We raised about 90,000 wax with that. And then the Tiamo drop, they started a bidding war over the big monument that I built, like the couple that are holding the pool thing. And that raised about 200,000 wax. So like, things are escalating, right? And they own the land key for those now too, right? So they could go in and destroy it if they wanted to. They won't probably, but like that it's important for people to understand that once you have that part of the map is yours. Do whatever you want to do on it. Right. But we see art installations like that being a core use case for people to like be creative and create reasons for people to kind of come and visit their stuff. Because again, the worst case scenario, people walking across your land, you're going to earn a little bit of wax. So yeah, Uplift Art is our partner. I guess that's like the long-winded question. Oh, like Uplift Art and Uplift, because like we were going to name it something else. The Uplift, we were going to name something else because it's too close. And then finally, M Blue and I were like, fuck it, because we're basically sister companies anyway. And now we've actually been acquired. The Uplift has been acquired by the parent company for Uplift Art. So it's all like we really are just kind of one thing. Uplift Art is just the sort of the creative art end of it. Gotcha. And that's actually there's gonna be tons of ties between what we do in the Uplift and how we use Uplift Art to get artists out there, right? So one thing I should mention, that 25%, I made more this year on music than I ever have before, and I've been doing it for 12 years. And you know how many gigs there are right now, Raul? None.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like it's intense. So anyway, sorry, I'll quit ranting.
That's a blessing, right? You get back, you get exactly what you deserve. Whatever you put in, whatever you receive, you're in that situation because you put in the work, and now you're just kind of reaping, right, all the residual effects of everything you did. So very cool.
Yeah, there's yeah. Sorry, my computer froze for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Awesome.
I started hearing you talking about a financial district aside from the other 3 districts. That's really, really intriguing.
Yeah. What can I say about the financial district right now? Everyone will come to know about Joachim the Swede. He's connected up the wazoo, but far more than that. He's been basically building in any open world on the internet where you could build as like a kind of fun part-time thing. And he's like a big time finance guy forever. Right. And so when he saw this, he's been playing around in Decentraland and checking out other things and right. Been in Second Life, had a big empire in what is it, EVE Online, right? That whole thing. And he's building. You can actually go check, if you book Greg for a tour, you can go and check out his build. He's got 3 mega towers on his community plot already, right? Joachim does. And so like he gets this at a very it was actually him this morning that was said we're like a 4-dimensional, or 4.0 browser or whatever. Like it's just it's a different thing. So he sees this, he groks it, he understands it at a level that I think even surpasses anything that I sort of understand, which is fun, right? Like sitting like this is totally aside, but when I was a guitar, well, I still am, but like when I was learning how to play guitar, I tried desperately to make sure I was the worst guitar player in the room, no matter how good I got, right? And now, into this sort of first foray into, what's going to be a pretty big business, I'm trying desperately to make sure that I'm the dumbest guy in the room all the time. And right now it's pretty easy. Yeah. But like it's because we've been so lucky that like Rockwell, our CEO, Titan, like ex-VP of Apple data centers, like he's a hardcore like Fortune 500 kind of guy, right? Our CFO ran a freaking $1 billion hedge fund, right? So like our team behind us is insane, like bonkers insane. So, when I get in the room with somebody like Joachim, I could speak the language a bit now, especially because we're all excited about the same things. We kind of get this whole metaverse deal. But man, I'm infinitely grateful for the giant ass brains I get to hang out with all the time, because they're who are gonna make this the thing that we know it can be, right? So, it's gonna take a lot to scale it globally, which is what's gonna happen. But it will be because of them and the fact that, and this is, Raul, one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced yet. Hearing from these guys, and I joke about it, like these are the type of guys that sleep in their suits. They don't. They're actually really cool. But like that kind of image, right? And the gratitude thing gets them. It hits a spot for them as well. And Rockwell, our CEO. He was even talking about like a year ago, he was thinking about creating, an internet, VR space for people to come and share some gratitude and be like a secular, non like dogmatic religious, but a place for people to experience that community and that fellowship or whatever. And then he saw what we're doing, the gratitude ceremonies. He's like, shit, you're already doing it, right? Because we are Sundays, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you can come experience that, and we do it obviously live in the thing, but before too long there's going to be hundreds of people on the floor of the cathedral experiencing that moment together, and it'd be a really powerful thing, right? So it really is. And Greg jokes about this all the time, but like 6 months ago we were begging people to come into our server. Right. Anyway, before we go any farther though, and I'm actually really enjoying this, thank you for doing it. It's cool to just sort of not have to be able to answer questions and stuff, but we have a thing that we usually do at the beginning of calls that we didn't do yet that we need to do now.
Awesome. I've seen this plenty of times.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So now's your time, man. What are you grateful for?
I've been saying this all week, but I want to put it out for everyone watching. Thankful for my wife. She's just been a big support through everything that I do, all of my different ventures. She's there right next to me, ready to go as fast as I am. So, yeah.
Raul, you're going to make me cry on the internet.
Oh, man.
Things are obviously escalating around here pretty quickly. And it's been, I've been with my wife for a little over 10 years now. And she's been supporting me as well, right? I'm a musician, always have been, for the last really long time. She's like a neuropharmacologist, so she makes a lot of money or whatever. And it kind of made the amount of money that I made as a musician more or less meaningless, right? But what I always had that she didn't have was when I woke up in the morning, I for the last 13, 14 years before I'd met her, I always was like, what do I feel like doing today? Right. And really, it was like, whatever, play video games, read a sci-fi novel, do whatever I want to do, and then go and drink and play music, and they pay me money. Like, that was pretty good, right? Right?
That's awesome.
But, right. And so, but she gets up and she goes to work every morning, right? And so when we first got together, I was like, I want her to experience that morning. Shit. Greg, what time is it? 10:51? Damn it.
Yeah.
I want to experience that when she wakes up in the morning and has no idea what she's going to do that day, and it's a Monday,
That's
right?
awesome.
And that's probably coming this year. And so, like, I mean, I'm beyond insanely, infinitely grateful, and it only took me 10 years to figure it out. But you grind on these things anyway, Raul. So thank you for that. I mean, it the partners that we get in this life, if you get lucky, and it seems like you have gotten as lucky as I have, it just,
Absolutely.
yeah, there can never be enough gratitude. So I'm super stoked about this. What is your wife's name and how do you spell it so I don't screw it up?
Daisy, like the flower, Daisy.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been looking forward to that. So that's very cool that I got to do it.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna throw one on here too.
Yep.
Cool. Is this your first interview or did I just lie?
This actually is. Yeah, I've done never like for myself. I've done it for like previous company, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll leave it. All right, I'm going to just take a screenshot of this. I'll throw it up at the channel.
Oh,
There you go.
Brito. No N.
Brito.
Yeah. Sorry.
Damn it.
Should've
No, don't be
it.
sorry. Yeah,
My
don't
bad.
be sorry. I'm the one who screwed it up. Thanks for the catch.
Do you know what you're going to be building first, or you've already built? Right? Yeah, you've already built stuff. Yeah. I've been going back and forth on what I want to build. I'm going for the 10 plot today. So I know if I land that, I have no clue what I'm going to be building with all the plots, but one thing I'm probably going to be going after first is the that castle that they feature in Ready Player One, like within the first 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go for that.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. Yeah, so I've built, I had help with the pillars and flattening this area out and because of course it was just a couple of mountains before. The dome, as Greg mentions every so often, I actually laid one brick at a time. And he mentioned this morning that he sort of suspected that this is when I was starting to come up with the idea to bootstrap us into this, new weird thing. And he's kind of right. Like, I had a lot of time to think about stuff. So weird.
Yeah, you're buying plots today too,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're going to be building on those?
No clue. Literally no idea.
How funny. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, build wise, like, I mean, I'm actually building a team now to finish the Blue Room. That's the collection of pyramids and stuff, because it's just there's too much work, and we need to get it done now because it's going to be like a flagship NFT gallery. And the builders, like, I sort of like the kind of mega engineering kind of thing, right? 'Cause it's sort of meditative and you sort of get the big shapes or whatever. But Gary from Boyd is actually going to be coming in to help me finish that out. And his fine detail stuff, like I basically sketched out an idea for the wax milestone path as an example, and he went in and like built this awesome, beautiful path through the mountains that goes up to it, and built the path all the way up to the thing, and like, you know, we schemed a building in, and he finished all that stuff up and created a rail out of it. So he's like a detail oriented guy. Sure. I mean, go to Boyd. I mean, like, just go to Boyd for 5 seconds. You're like, what the hell is that? An AT-AT? What the hell? You know, like, it's just super awesome. Anyway, yeah.
That's really cool. I'm interested in building businesses within the game. So I'm going to be one of those guys selling resources.
Good. Yeah. So you want to be in survival at some point, basically.
Yeah, I think I'm all for the creative mode, but I think a lot of my time is going to be spent in survival.
Yeah, I think people are going to basically, because again, this world that we're doing now is creative. Right. The free stuff that people are getting with the boosters and things, the 50s, they're going to be in a creative world. So that, like, people will have access, you know, with those with those plots to kind of bootstrap into the survival end of the game. And when, Greg's all excited now. When Chicken Ka is going to be Chicken Ka, excuse me, is going to be survival. They decided they're going to be survival, and they're going to have some rail and some land for sale. Probably, I want it, and again, don't, you know, 'cause it's a fluid space. I'm hoping in a month, give or take, that will be running those sales, and that'll be all in creative, right? So get some land there, and like, watch what they do, right? If you want to know, like, I want to build a business, I want to create some gamification, watch what Greg does and what the team in Chicken Ka are doing very, very carefully. They're not even showing me half the shit they're doing, right? Yeah. So like, they're planning on being like a tourist trap of epic proportion, right? Because they want people to come there, and it makes sense, right? They're developing, you know, different games and different, like, really, really amazing things everyone is going to want to see. And so they're the ones to watch right now. But man, when people get into the game, you know, I think it's going to get very dynamic very quickly.
Yeah, I watched that. I wish I remember who put it out. It was a lady speaking over.
Sue Gentry. Yes.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, Sue. Yeah, that's
so good.
I watched that yesterday with you guys, and man, yeah, that was awesome.
Oh man, yeah, and Sue is such an awesome human being too. I'm so excited to see that. And even like this door doesn't really work, but make sure you don't try this ladder when you're not sober.
Yeah, very, very cool the way she put that together. That's
it was awesome.
Impressive. That was really cool.
That's good stuff.
And you guys are going to be selling land for Chicken Ka as well, right? Yeah.
So I mean, there's going to be. I'm not going to say any numbers yet because we're still doing the surveying. There's going to be a lot less than in the community cluster. It'll be a much smaller sale. And you know, they're so like just targeting like maybe between 500 and 1,000 land, probably less.
Gotcha.
And around that with rail. And again, like, and when you go and see the map, like these are the people that were here first, right? And so we wanted to make sure that they basically had like a legacy stake, right? So they've got, you know, pretty big tracts of land that, you know, nobody else in the game will probably ever get those unless you're a developer. But we wanted to make sure that we were, you know, really setting them up in our, because they breathed like some essential lifeblood into this in the beginning. And they're still doing it. That's what's fun. Like, it was the sort of, you know, we always knew like we wanted to make sure we get some land, but then we decided to have them run a test city as well, because I think those are like city states are very likely going to be a thing that is a way that we scale, right? So we're going to learn a lot about how this amazing group of people incentivizes and organizes their area, right? And how that's going to run. And we're going to have DACs before too long, decentralized autonomous companies or corporations that will be doing basically any decision making that doesn't directly impact the global state of the game or the global economics of the game, right? I don't want to make those decisions. I want you guys to self-determine in each city, state, or district or world as much as humanly possible. And they're sort of like the early test case for that. And so far, it's going really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good to know. So 500. Oh yeah, you said it's still undecided.
Yeah, we don't know, but it's again like where this one was like 3,000 and 3,800. Think in terms of like 20% of that ish.
Man, sounds like it's going to be the place to be.
It could be, and honestly, like being near these people as humans is like I'll be buying land there for sure. Like that, and they were even like, we'll give you some. I'm like, nope, I want to buy some. That's before. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna continue. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No. I just like that's before we talk about Shipletopia and the spaceport, but that's a totally different topic.
Interesting. I was gonna ask if you could speak on the different districts. So I've seen some people like in the Telegram. I see a few of the common questions, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah. So the initial plan was to have one big contiguous map, and everyone spawns in the center, and you take rail out, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it turns out there's a reason why nobody else was doing that in Minecraft is because when you have 300, 400 players on a map that big, it's trying to render massive pieces of the map over and over and over and over and over again, and it'll basically kill any server architecture. Like, just doesn't matter how much power you throw at it, it's not gonna work. And so when we realized that, okay, we basically have to decentralize, which for us is like, oh no, don't make us decentralized, right? So that was fun. And what we decided, because it's sort of already in there, right? Like Chicken Ka is is sort of its one area, right? And Central City, it'll be now the hub, right? Like when you get into the game for the first time, you'll appear near the cathedral, and you'll kind of have the option to walk pretty close to the Stargate hub, which will then go to Chicken Ka or go to the community cluster or go to we don't have a name for it yet, but like the Southeast Asian soda lands or whatever, right?
Sure.
And we're looking at alien worlds, plugging them in and different things, right? So there's gonna be different districts like that. Well, and again, I don't have a name for this yet either, but the free plots that we're gonna give away, that survival world, and somebody throw an idea, at upliftworld.community. There's like a little link to throw in ideas. If you have name ideas for that, let me know. I haven't seen one that really sings to me yet. So they'll be off that hub, and so those are the different districts, right? And those districts are going to either be creative or survival. Gotcha. And they're, we talked about like maybe trying to do hybrids or whatever. Right now, I don't ever want to think about it again. It's been a contentious debate. So it's probably just going to be static now. And this is the thing in the survival stuff, you're going to have the economic plugin where you're going to be able to buy, sell, trade amongst yourselves with the materials in the game. And in creative, that will be cut off. You will never be allowed to sell any stuff like that in creative, because you could just invent a million diamonds and then try and put them on the market, right? And so like trying to do crossover with that just got so complicated that it sort of fell in under the principle of if it's more complicated than it's going to provide value, then we're just going to murder it. Like we're just going to kill it, right? And so we're trying to keep things as simple as humanly possible, because the market is going to be dynamic enough on its own, right? So that's how that landed. So different districts, you're going to be able to spawn, get into the world, into the game, and walk through doors and end up in these other places where you'll basically have different things. And I should note, you're going to have passports for each different place, right? That's how we're going to manage the server load on it. So if you buy land in Chicken Ka, you're going to get a passport for there. If you buy land in the community cluster, get a passport there. If you want to invite people, like getting different passports for people that you want to add to these different places, like we're going to have an overall cap of the number of passports that will be available for each district. And the longer we go, like I think that number is going to be really entertainingly high, but we have to control it until we understand very clearly what the server requirements are going to be for that. So yeah, that's how that's going to work.
Cool. How often do you think the rail is going to be used? I know it's going to be a mode of transportation. Is it going to be something that's like just always in use?
I have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Right. And like because we've been in creative, you can fly in creative, right? So we've been in creative and teleporting around and like acting like gods, trying to get everything ready before everybody shows up. Right. And for the large part, the only people that are going to have that power are going to be the people who need it. And so to get anywhere like that, there's a time function. You have to get in a minecart. You have to go down the rail, which is the fastest way, kind of to travel anywhere because they're all powered rail. I also think like Raul, I think people are going to walk because like those rail, like there's enough room to build gardens, to build like all the little interesting things we've seen built in the world. Everyone with a rail plot, I urge you, think about a way to make like, and we want the promenade to be sort of this place where like it's a long city, right? And it could be like damn near infinitely fascinating. So do I think the rail's going to get used? Yes, of course, because players you're going to earn more just walking along it or being on the rail. So why wouldn't you, right? You can like go to the hinterlands, have fun, like that's the whole point. But if you have to get from point A to point B, it makes sense to do it on those things because you're going to be incentivized to do that, and of course people are going to be building to suit kind of, right? So yeah, there's no way to know what what it's really going to be like because we're basically setting the initial boundary conditions, and then the universe will take over and we'll see what happens, right?
How what kind of distance are we talking from like the spawn point to like Chicken Caw? If I wanted to walk that, is that gonna?
It won't. That's just the thing that won't exist.
Oh, I see.
Because they're going to be effectively different worlds, and that's why we call it a Stargate network. Yeah, it's like the big contiguous map. We're basically having to kill that now, just to make the server architecture work as efficiently as possible. So yeah, it'll take approximately 0.0 seconds.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk on? I guess the earning potential that owning these. Oh, okay, gotcha. No. Cool.
Thank you for asking me that question in that way.
Yeah.
And honestly, like we honestly don't know. I could tell you we have 2 million, like just shy of 2 million wax in the rewards pool. I could tell you that 1/365th of that is going to get put into a hot wallet every day, and that's the rewards, right? And we're going to have a way to set the difficulty depending on how many people are in the game, right? Because there will be a variable rate of demand on that. I can tell you that, this first iteration is going to be fun. It's going to be really low on purpose because we're going to have, NFT power-ups for the landowners, for the players. Then we're going to be adding on, rewards for building and rewards for mining, right? Like it's going to be set really low on purpose. We watched what Alien Worlds did. They had theirs jacked initially and had to lower it, and the community got real mad, right? So it's much easier to add things on than to take it away,
right?
And it's going to be way more fun, right? Like that gamification experience, and we're never going to sell those NFTs to power that up. They're only going to be like findable in the world, right? Or in games. I think that's true. I shouldn't probably say that definitively. That's the plan right now. I reserve the right to completely change our mind on that. We'll see how that goes. But I think like that, just that, like you're wandering around and like you're getting a little bit of wax. That's fine, right? But then like to have an NFT pop up in your thing, and it's like, oh, you now have a 2% buff on your on your rewards. Like checks notes forever, right? And if you don't care about wax, you're like, I'll put this motherfucker on sale. And I'm sorry that I swear so much. Not enough to change, but like I've noticed that I do sometimes.
It's all good.
Anyway, yeah. So that experience, we've got a million different ideas about how we can do that, and we can then, let's say, when you have a big show and you have an NFT line, and we want to help you promote it. Well, we say, well, this month, if you're holding any of the Raul B NFTs in your wallet, that's a 1% buff. You might want to go buy them, right? Times that by every NFT project on the planet, and you're going to start to see what's possible.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so cool. I'm definitely excited about events that are in game because we've seen some of the big people do it, like Fortnite and stuff, and um, that's huge. And through the last company that I work with, it was also in the music industry, named Groove Gear. So shout out to Groove Gear. I work closely with a lot of artists, musicians, and I asked a few of them on Instagram, like, what do they think about virtual concerts, virtual events, and they're all stoked for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and selling tickets, right? That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and if you're not gonna have the ticket stub anymore, you're gonna have the NFT, which is cooler.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And they'll all have mint numbers and then right, and like there will be gamification layers on top of the tickets and stuff as well, I think. So yeah, all that stuff's coming. Especially, I can't. There's Raul. We should talk, and there's stuff coming that I can't talk about.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. just use.
I want to very much. I want to talk. It's so bad, and yeah, and it's in like one of the biggest names in the music industry on the awesome talks with about a lot of things. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no,
it's good stuff. So the music industry is going to come crashing into the whole NFT market, right? And so we're going to be and we're giving them time to kind of grok to understand NFTs before we smash them in the face with the uplift. Like, cool, NFTs are awesome, but have you seen metaverses? Because we don't want to break their brains. But that, like, having the ability to build a plugin so that you have like a giant ass stadium in the world and everybody hanging out together, and there's a working video screen that is the show, right? The live show, is something that is very much on our minds.
That's very exciting. That's gonna look great. I haven't looked a whole lot into the music part of the NFTs, but I have run across like Euler Beats, stuff like that. So that's really exciting.
I guess like Kings of Leon just did an album launch, and they were super smart and did it on Ethereum. It's like, it's amazing to see, because people are watching all this money that's getting made in Ethereum. So of course, like, well, obviously that's where you go, right? And if you're only targeting whales that don't care about a $100 transaction fee or whatever the hell it is now, that's fine. But like the mass market is an order of magnitude or two, like add a zero or add 2 zeros bigger than that market, right? So obviously like the Wax blockchain and the like Soda.finance, for example, they're on the Binance Smart Chain. So when we have Lanky NFTs from their district or their world that's attached to the uplift, I think our NFTs will be launched on the Binance Smart Chain, right? They'll actually be there, so that'll be a totally different experience. But again, that's how we start, meshing the world together. It's like we can do NFTs wherever we want, right? And it's a lot like the Wax experience or what have you. And yeah, I think I was just thinking about, I was musing in the channel too, like Binance token payment rails, like, I was like, hello. That would be really fun. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I like the way, like the excitement. I know there's definitely some exciting things that you're aware of that you're not allowed to speak on, but over this week, how you're talking in this way. I think you mentioned something like you can't, I guess, behind the scenes with Wax, and how there's some big things coming. And I loaded up on some Wax. I know they put out like some of the I guess the people that they onboarded for their board of advisors, and I saw like some really big names on there, and like you had like the head of games for Marvel. So it's a sentiment to the belief that people have about Wax, and I'm realizing this now, and they've been doing this for a long longer than I was. The way that I built the community cluster by basically going and saying like, hey, we'll give you some free land. We want to kind of bootstrap this and make a community out of it. And everybody was like, yeah, fuck it, that sounds fun, right? So that was good. They're kind of doing that here too. Like, and Bill Quigley, the CEO of Wax.io,
If you haven't seen it, check out the interview we did with Blue, right? It's like he knows his stuff like a lot, right? And so yeah, they're going out and they're creating a community of these like hardcore brands, to go out and build infrastructure. And we're of course in talks with I think 2 now of the largest brands on earth that we're going to be bringing as well, and some of the largest artists. I'm kind of outing some stuff. The largest artists on earth, right? So like, there's 40,000 wallets in the Wax ecosystem right now. I think the last count, there probably more now, but this was like a week ago, and a soft count, like back of the napkin. No, like this is not even a prediction. It's just an inevitability. There's going to be 1 million at least by the end of the year. Wow. Active Wax accounts, at least. Right. That's so crazy. Like, just do whatever math you want to do. Right. I get paid in Wax. So.
Yeah, that's sounds like it's the way to go.
And again, anything can happen, right? And that's always true in all of this. And I know, you guys all know that. It's the Wild West out here, right? Who knows? Right. But yeah, I mean, things are looking, things are looking really amazing across the board. Like, we're now entering that part of the crypto cycle where you could like throw a dart at the market and make money, and then just as long as you don't think you're smart, because that was me last time. Like, I come from a Forex background. I was doing some trading, and so I took like $200 and like turned it into like about 15 or 16,000. I thought I was like really, really smart. And my buddy who bought a bunch of stuff in like late 2016 and did nothing, and I was like trading every day, right? So like for a year, he did nothing, and he made 7% less than me. Right? Like, like my takeaway is trading is dumb, because I'm actually like I'm not like great at it. I'm pretty good. Where people in the bull markets lose money all the time, which it's absurd. Like, just don't get in the whole trading thing, whatever. Look at this is my financial advice that we're not supposed to give. And I'm like, this is me giving it. Go Google the Bitcoin annual lows and take the image that you get, take the meme that you get, and bring it on your computer and act fucking accordingly. Right? Don't try and make $18 million this year. You might, great. If you do, awesome. But there's a way to play this that with a level of certainty that over a 5 to 10 year period is good, in my clearly humble opinion. Anyway, what is the price of Wax right now?
This morning, I think it was like 20 cents. 20, yeah. So it's definitely growing, and I think it was on the 8th. It was sitting at 10 cents, and then like
when we did our sale, it was right around 10. The first one was right around 10 cents.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's exciting. I mean, I first discovered Wax through the Street Fighter project.
Nice.
And then I jumped on through the Garbage Pail Kids, and then I found you guys, and you guys have been my main one.
All right, awesome. We're happy to have you. So I've got about another 2 or 3 minutes. Raul, thank you so much for doing this, man. What? How do you want to close this out?
Can you briefly talk on where we're going, what the future looks like? So you talked before about the different planets, potentially. Yeah.
We're version 1 of Ready Player One. Insert bell noise here. I think the thing that we're good at. I thought we'd like have a few maps and we'd have a few thousand players and like, yay, that's fun. The universe has much different plans. I'm gonna say something really messed up, but it might be true. The uplift could just eat the internet, right? Browser windows could just go away, and it could be the uplift instead, right? Because all these are photons coming at us from the screen. Lisa Chandler was talking about it this morning, right?
Right.
And so we're going from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions, from feeling like we get to be in the same room, we get to talk, we get to do this thing, but within a few years, we'll just be in the same place, right? And so Minecraft is layer 1 because we could take it off the shelf and build an amazing experience from nothing quickly. That's why we did it, right? And I was thinking, okay, a couple of years from now, we put like 100 dev team, 100-person dev team together, and build out, the game, the Unreal Engine or something, right? The VR, the AR, like what's
Right.
where is all of this stuff going 5-10 years from now, and start building that now at scale. And I'll tell you this: the people who are the titans and movers and shakers globally that I get to talk to now are like, what if we did that this year?
Wow.
So again, like layer 1 is happening, and it will. I mean, it's always going to roll. Like I think as long as we can do it, this layer will always exist, right? Because we're encoding our history into this, and that's really important to me. But because it's all made of voxels, there's nothing saying that when we bootstrap into VR or wherever we go, right, our proprietary thing that doesn't require Minecraft, we can take the entire digital construct of any one of the worlds or all of them, fork it. Now you own land here and you own land here. Only this is like hardcore. All the shaders are perfectly encoded. It looks like fucking magic all the time.
Right.
And we own this. Cryptocurrency is just there everywhere all the time. DeFi is there all the stuff that we can't do because of Minecraft and how they want to roll, and that's great. I mean, we get to use this tool. We will always be on the right side of the end user lights for Microsoft because it's so valuable for us as a community to do that. But when we bootstrap above it, it's like buckle
really
up.
Yeah.
Right. And all the same NFTs are mapped to the same piece of land there. And then, obviously we just keep expanding from there. But it means that, ultimately it's like owning Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash when they split, right? Only Bitcoin Cash is garbage.
Right.
That was a joke, by the way. It was,
No.
Bitcoin Cash. Don't tell Roger Ver. He'll get very, very sad that I said that.
That's so great, man. Definitely excited for it. So yeah, but I'm good to go. Thank you for agreeing to this. This has been fun. This has been awesome. Definitely an honor. And good luck on the sale today.
Thanks, man. So yeah, I'll send you this recording too, so you can have it throw up where you want it, wherever you want to throw it. And yeah, dude, thanks for doing it. If anytime you want to come back and do it, and if you want to interview other people connected to the space, right? Like if you should interview Greg sometime, or M Blue, or Jimmy, or like there's what I'd really like to see as a favor. Interview the Banksy of the Uplift.
Cool, got it. I know just what you're talking about.
I can hook you up. I know her pretty well.
Sweet, yeah.
She's my cousin.
Oh.
But I want to make her famous, right? I really like that whole drop in, guerrilla artist kind of vibe. Anyway, that'll be cool. All right, so I gotta run. We're gonna be on Any Observation. And yeah, Raul, thank you so much for doing this, man. It was a fun way to spend the morning before we do the sale. It was really good. Thank you.
Cool, man. I'm excited.
And I gotta post those gratitude pictures up from the thing. They'll be in the channel in minutes. So steal those, make an NFT out of it, sell it for $1 million. Boom.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, man. Ciao.